For over 4 years, a good, fit single mother with a severely autistic, nonverbal daughter has been in a battle with the Georgia Division of Family and Children Services, also known as Georgia CPS, trying to get her child back. Also note the child is fatherless as he passed away several years ago in 2013. A little about the mother. She is a registered nurse with active Georgia and multi-state compact licenses, currently serving as a frontline disaster FEMA contracted relief travel nurse for post-Hurricane Ian victims. The entire time COVID was flaring, she did frontline registered nurse work. In the past, she also served as acting and lieutenant paramedic firefighter. This mother has consistently had a safe, stable residence. She is drug-free. There were no findings on the psychological evaluation she submitted to for the Georgia Division of Family and Children Services, hoping to get her daughter back. She does not have any criminal records or history. There are no charges of abuse or neglect for this mother by anyone. These are the exact allegations against the mother, quoting directly from Georgia Division of Family and Children Services records for this case. Quote, "The causes of dependency as to the mother are inability to meet special behavioral/mental needs of child. But if Georgia's Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities would simply approve a now-comp waiver, this good single mother of her severely autistic nonverbal fatherless child who has served this country as a first responder and more could receive the health care and resources she needs to assist her in caring for her daughter. This good mother is not the first parent to have a severely disabled child who requires additional assistance in the form of healthcare resources. Is a child's disability severity and lack of Georgia healthcare resources available to this mother a valid reason to tear her child away from her? Well, the taxpayer-funded Georgia Division of Family and Children Services, judges, and guardian ad litem think so. This Atlanta area Georgia Division of Family and Children Services has also stated to this good, fit mother that their goal is to terminate her parental rights. What? Something doesn't add up. Requiring additional healthcare assistance for a severely autistic and disabled child, assistance Georgia hasn't made available to this mother, doesn't make her an unfit parent, deserving of having her parental rights terminated. You'll soon learn how the Georgia Division of Family and Children Services spends lots of your tax dollars to keep children in their system and away from good parents. Shockingly, this includes providing the foster parent with the exact healthcare resources and benefits this mother has been begging them for that she can be reunited with her precious daughter. Yet her cries have continually fallen on the deaf ears and stone-cold hearts of the Georgia Division of Family and Children Services staff, judges, guardian ad litem, and more. There seems to be an endless money spigot made of Georgia tax dollars to fund everything CPS needs to keep her daughter away from her, but no taxpayer money, funding, or healthcare resources available to bring them back together. The solution to reunite them is available. So why has the Georgia Division of Family and Children Services failed to even consider assisting this mother in obtaining it? Here's a quote by Senator Nancy Schaefer, who fought courageously to expose the corruption in the Georgia Division of Family and Children Services until her tragic death on March 26, 2010. Quoting Senator Schaefer, "There are state employees, lawyers, court investigators, court personnel, and judges. There are psychologists and psychiatrists, counselors, caseworkers, therapists, foster parents, adoptive parents, and on and on. All are looking to the children in state custody to provide job security. Parents do not realize that social workers are the glue that holds the system together that funds the court, the child's attorney, and the multiple other jobs, including the Georgia Division of Family and Children Services attorneys." End of quote. Perhaps you can come to your own conclusion as to why no one in the Georgia Division of Family and Children Services attorneys or anyone associated with them are even attempting to help this innocent mother and child reunite. The state of Georgia also gets a big, fat F- for available healthcare resources for severely disabled autistic children. For with a child of this mother's daughter's severity of autism, Georgia's healthcare coverage and availability is very poor. But this is no fault of this good mother. For example, in Georgia, there is a lack of applied behavioral analysis therapy companies that accept Medicaid, children older than 12 years of age, severe cases of aggressive children, and older children. Many applied behavioral analysis therapy companies in Georgia won't take difficult cases, like children at this mother's daughter's severity. If they do accept severe cases like hers, they are often dropped as patients after healthcare workers have been aggressed on a few times. This good Atlanta, Georgia area mother should never have had her daughter taken from her. Simply allocating Georgia tax dollars away from the Georgia Division of Family and Children Services and towards the right healthcare resources would easily solve this. Her case gets even more disturbing. Now see how the Georgia tax dollar money spigot has spent way more of your hard-earned dollars keeping this child away from her mother than it would have spent keeping them together. Over the past 4 years, Georgia tax dollars paid for this very vulnerable, severely autistic nonverbal child to remain in Georgia Division of Family and Children Services custody. The Georgia Division of Family and Children Services and judge even shipped this vulnerable child to another state in a 24/7 care facility, forcing the mother to drive 7 hours round-trip pay to see her daughter. This cruel out-of-state facility arrangement lasted the first 3+ years of this case on Georgia taxpayer dollars. Again, with no abuse or neglect charges of any kind against this mother. Why not find a way to use those Georgia tax dollars to assist the mother and child and keep them together? No, these horrible individuals in the Georgia Division of Family and Children Services and the connecting juvenile court system prefer to waste your tax dollars rather than provide the much more cost-effective alternative of healthcare assistance and keeping families together. This past year, her daughter has been in a foster care home with that flowing spigot of your Georgia tax dollars, providing every healthcare resource and benefit for the foster care person. Outrageously, the foster care person is receiving the exact types of healthcare resources the real mother needs to assist her with her child, that they may be reunited as a family. You heard that right. The Georgia Division of Family and Children Services and the connecting juvenile court system have determined that it's no problem that the foster care person requires loads of healthcare resources and benefits to care for the real mother's daughter. But they absolutely refuse to acknowledge the real mother's cries for the same or similar healthcare benefits. They instead, and without right disregard for the best interest of the child, label this good mother with inability to meet special behavioral/mental needs of child as the reason for tearing her daughter away from her and keeping this vulnerable child in the Georgia CPS system and foster care system. When you hear what healthcare resources and benefits the Georgia Division of Family and Children Service is arranged for the foster person to have, but not for the mother, your mind will be blown and your stomach will turn. Keep in mind that all of this was approved by the guardian ad litem and signed off on by the juvenile dependency court judge. The foster care person where her daughter is currently staying with receives the following healthcare benefits and resources paid for with your Georgia taxpayer money. Monthly income and benefits to care for the child. Regular applied behavioral analysis therapy. Regular board certified behavior analyst care. Behavior aid assistance 24 hours per week. 10 days a month respite care. Disturbing, right? What the Georgia Division of Family and Children Services, guardian ad litem, and judge have admitted by providing the foster care person with all these healthcare resources and benefits is that they are in fact required to care for the real mother's daughter. But they'd rather keep this vulnerable child in their system than assist the real mother in obtaining similar required healthcare benefits while simultaneously accusing her of inability to meet special behavioral/mental needs of child. Translation: the Georgia Division of Family and Children Services, guardian ad litem, and judge are completely aware of all the healthcare assistance her daughter requires, but they refuse to help the real mother obtain any of it. This should scare every parent in the Atlanta, Georgia area with these people on the taxpayer payroll who are supposed to be protecting children and helping families. Why are none of the resources being made available to the child's real mother? And the Georgia Division of Family and Children Services has never even hinted at what the possible paths are for this mother to be reunified with her own child. No, they prefer to accuse her of not being able to care for her own daughter while doing nothing to assist her, yet everything to assist the foster care person. Her daughter has also sustained very serious and suspicious injuries while in foster care. Did you know that the Georgia Division of Family and Children Services gets much more tax dollar funding for each severely disabled or special needs child that they have in their custody? Lots more. Does this sound like a good incentive for them to return her severely autistic, nonverbal daughter and children like her back to their parents? The Georgia Division of Family and Children Services caseworkers, judges, and more also deny science. It is proven by science that there is a powerful lifelong bond between a mother and child. Yet in this case, time after time, they've chosen to do nothing to help this precious family stay together. The taxpayer money setup of the Georgia Division of Family and Children Services budget is outrageously wasteful and works against innocent families and in favor of the Georgia Division of Family and Children Services instead of helping keep children with their good, fit parents. More info on this case to come. See the description for more information.